How? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another one of my criticism of bad skepticism videos. I haven't done one in several years, generally because of the fact that I thought they weren't necessary anymore. Well, not counting that one about bad stats used on Mythbusters. Actually, as a matter of fact, it's Mythbusters this time who are target again of the of the criticism. I went I was doing another Mythbusters mega watching fiasco, doing another Mythbusters marathon, when I should happen to come across Season 4, Episode 25, the Anti-Gravity episode. Now, it's, normally, they do quite well, and, the science was good in this episode, but Kari Byron said something that kind of set me off. Let's take a screen share and watch this, as reposted by someone else on YouTube. Let's take a look. I believe this is the one. Here we go.
Christmas spirit in 3, 2, 1, go.
Sorry, I should mention there's a little bit of background from the other myth.
For some reason.
Here we go.
In the past, the Mythbusters have tested and busted crazy concepts such as pyramid power.
I'm reading your thoughts right now.
Free energy.
You might as well just go get a battery.
And mind control.
Rita. Make him take his Brea.
But Kari, Grant, and Tori are determined to get this frontier technology off the ground.
Okay, guys, got the next big myth. Have you ever thought it would be cool to control gravity?
Yes. Woo! Great.
Can't wait.
Another one of these.
Yeah. Okay, look. There's a lot of credible research going on all around the world. There's a Russian scientist doing a lot of cool stuff with superconductors. NASA, the European Space Agency are all interested.
Yeah, that just pretty much proves that there's nut jobs and fruitcakes all the way to the top.
And that right there is the line where Kari Byron fucked it up. Allow me to illustrate why. But you know what? There's two main reasons I'm directly attacking this particular line of hers. The first one is as follows. Back to screen share. And I want to illustrate the fact that that there has been actual serious research from top-level fields all the way right up until recent. The first, sorry, wrong paper. Where did I put that? Here we go. The first paper is the first reason is a paper by Kip Thorne and a couple of major others who wrote in 1988 the paper "Wormholes, Time Machines, and the Weak Energy Condition." This paper is one of Thorne's seminal pieces, talking about how using the Casimir Effect, which is a known experimental manifestation of zero-point energy, which is the energy effectively tied into the fabric of space-time and which causes cosmic inflation. Yes, that using it from a spherical system as opposed to a standard flat plate system, which is what is done currently in the laboratory, could actually cause a space warp, such that, in theory, you might be able to push space-time apart rather than bringing it together and open the mouth of a wormhole. Now, this, as to date, had not yet been tested. Or has it? Let's flip to the Wikipedia article on the White-Juday warp field interferometer experiment. Yes, apparently, recently, a group at NASA in the last couple of years actually did talk about how they could use a toroidal positive energy density that could result in a spherical negative pressure region, possibly eliminating the need for actual exotic matter. In theoretical physics, exotic matter is what actually creates the mass negative space-time normally. They effectively tried to use a flat Casimir plate version, and we will actually upload the reference for this. Let me find it. Yeah, let's actually pull up the actual paper for this and show you guys. H.G. White and White E. Davis. This is their seminal theoretical paper on this particular aspect. But it gets better. See, White didn't just write a theoretical paper showing the possible way that one could actually do this, and they even proposed a method for how to or they even proposed a method using an interferometer. They actually made the proposed lab experiment, but here's the kicker: they actually tested this experiment. They actually tested this experiment. But what are we looking for here? Where are we? Yes, results. White announced the first results of his interferometer experiment at a 2013 space conference. According to White, these results showed a vanishing but non-zero difference between charged and uncharged states after signal processing, but this difference remains inconclusive due to external interference and limits of the computational processing. So here's where this goes with this. The fact is, and we have a link, we have even a link for it right here. Yes, this is a link to Starship Conference Warfield Update. Now this was published in 2013, and they are going to need a successor experiment. So now, and I will show you the video, of course, just to illustrate the point.
I think all of us are.
Now this is going to be 12 hours and 44 minutes to watch through, but nonetheless, it is a very technical, in-depth issue on what is actually going on in this field of research. So here's where my issue is with Kari Byron right now. Let me pop back to my Google Hangout so I can eliminate the screen share. Here's where my issue is with Kari Byron at the moment. The issue is not so much that they busted it, that they busted their results. As a matter of fact, I am glad that they busted the results for every single one of those kooky ideas that were coming off the internet. And the reason I say they were kooky is because they failed under experimentation. I want to make this perfectly clear. They said they had busted it for the. They said that at the time it was busted for now, with the provisional understanding for later, and that I'm completely cool with. But Kari, you do not trash a group of scientists. You do not trash people for pursuing the scientific method. Ball lightning was considered. Ball lightning and aviation were considered nut job ideas or contrary common sense. There were even scientists who, before rockets were actually thrown, said that rockets would not be able to work for the simple reason that the rockets had nothing to push against. Lord Kelvin himself said the theory of evolution could not work because the sun was perfectly balanced for hydrogen and oxygen to only burn for about 6,000 years. So when scientists say that an idea is wrong and it's later proven true, and call people nut jobs and fruitcakes, not appropriate. So here's the thing: you do not, repeat, do not call a scientist a nutcake or a fruit job, or anyone, a fruitcake or a nut job. Sorry, I'm even getting mixed up here because of the fact that I am so annoyed at this. Kari, you do not call someone who is pursuing the scientific method for testing a crazy idea a fruitcake or a nut job, just simply for pursuing the scientific method and seeing what's real and what's not. Because if this were a foundational issue, the fact that Mythbusters tests weird and quacky myths, even if they believe or don't believe them, we could use that same argument for calling all of you and Mythbusters a bunch of fruitcakes and nut jobs for being interested in testing kooky myths. So, yeah, that was an ad hominem attack against a large number of scientists and a large number of organizations. Not cool and uncalled for. We don't want to see that again. Now, to be fair, I want to make this perfectly clear. All of this space warping research, which would cause an anti-gravitational distortion, the expanding space-time behind the spacecraft, and we still have yet to learn how to crunch the space-time ahead in order to be able to create a full warp drive. I should mention, that while these results are indicative, they are not conclusive, and successor replication experiments are going to be necessary to confirm any of this. That being said, they are pursuing the scientific method at this time. As long as they are pursuing the scientific method, and as long as they accept whatever results come out of the experiments, that is appropriate, and they are not nut jobs for doing so. I think I've managed to make my case on this one, and I'm going to go now and have a nice little calm down for the rest of the day. I don't want to see Mythbusters create another flub like this in the next week, or I don't want to uncover another major flub like this in the next week, because of the fact that my blood pressure levels are already very high right now. And, yeah. Sorry about that, but I had thought I had left this whole thing, I thought I put this whole thing to bed when Penn and Teller bullshit ended years ago. Yes, I know there's a proviso in this. I know that this Mythbusters episode is from years ago, and I know that Mythbusters have kind of improved since then. That said, I want Kari Byron and I want the rest of the Mythbusters to be aware of when flubs like this come to the light. I want them to be more careful about this kind of thing, because the use of ad hominem attacks, especially when trashing people who are pursuing the scientific method, actually undermines the process of skepticism because of the fact that it's actually because of the fact that it's saying that science can be only applied selectively to preconceived beliefs, not to everything, which is exactly what skepticism should not be doing. There, I believe I've said my piece, and now I'm going to sign off. By the way, all the links that I've shown you in the screen share will be posted below, so that this way you guys can take a look at this. And also as well, one final request, just to give Kari Byron a little bit of a wake-up call in her point. I'm going to be tweeting this at Kari Byron, and I will be posting her Twitter account down in the description as soon as it's all done. Yes, I'm going to take care of it that way, and I expect everyone else to tweet this at Kari Byron as well. Let's make sure that she has a little bit of a wake-up call and a gentle reminder of when she flubbed. And the only reason why I've waited this long to share this, even though I did see the episode originally at the time and later found the link recently, is because of the fact that I wanted enough time to make sure that I had enough scientific papers and even a potentially indicative experiment behind it to remind her what the scientific method actually looks like in the field. There. I think I've said my piece. See y'all.